Hey everyone, and welcome back to Talkin Texana. I'm Rebecca Tasker, and on our last episode, a young Bonnie Parker just met notorious car thief and low-level criminal Clyde Barrow. Now, Clyde's in prison, and Bonnie's about to commit her very first crime. While Clyde was rotting in prison, Bonnie was planning to break him out. She managed to smuggle him a pistol in hopes of him escaping. While Bonnie was successful in her plan, Clyde was not. And it wasn't long before he was recaptured and sent back to prison. But this was just the beginning of the story of Bonnie and Clyde. Across their home state of Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and even New Mexico, the Barrow gang went on a 2-year crime spree that made national headlines. They robbed mom-and-pop grocery stores, small banks, and gas stations. While their exploits made them celebrity outlaws, financially, crime didn't pay. Their largest haul was only $1,500, and their time was running out. 14 years hard labor was not exactly Clyde's idea of a good time. In fact, he had a fellow inmate chop off not one, but 2 of his toes in order to avoid his fair share of the work. It wasn't long after that he was granted parole and made his way back to Bonnie with a limp. The notorious duo picked up another member to their Barrow gang, a man named Raymond Hamilton. And it was soon after this that during an attempted theft, Bonnie found herself in the slammer outside of Dallas, Texas. It was then the gang experienced their first appearance in a national headline. Just north of Waco, the gang robbed a grocery store owned by J.W. Butcher. Upon trying to take away the pistol from a light-haired woman, Butcher was shot dead on the spot. His wife later confirmed the identity of Clyde and described a woman similar to Bonnie Parker. The only trouble was, Bonnie was still locked up. The jury found no probable cause for arrest, and Bonnie was no-billed. It wasn't long after she was living with her mother and claimed that her ragtag times with that no-good 2-bit Clyde Barrow were over. A thing of the past. Right. Not but a week or so later, Raymond Hamilton, Bonnie, Clyde, and the rest of the gang were on their way to a little dance shindig outside of Atoka, Oklahoma. And being the wild bunch that they were, it wasn't long before Clyde and Raymond were duking it out in the fresh air.
What began as a playful brawl resulted in 2 dead law enforcement, a deputy and sheriff alike.
After the little Oklahoma dance party, Raymond was turned in by none other than his most recent sweetheart. He faced 263 years in Huntsville to pay for his crimes. Although Bonnie and Clyde's financial gains paled in comparison to that of other gangsters and criminals of the time, they had something that the others didn't: an affinity for killing, specifically law enforcement types. October 11th, 1932, in Sherman, Texas. Bonnie and Clyde robbed a cowpoke-turned-grocer named Howard Hall. Upon hearing complaints of rough treatment, Clyde gleefully shot the man twice. The couple continued to dance about the corpse and the pooling blood on the ground while they gathered sandwiches and made their way off in a brand new Ford. It was December 5th, 1932, in Temple, Texas. A lumber salesman named Doyle Johnson was just sitting down to enjoy his evening paper when he was rudely interrupted by the cranking up of his prized possession in the driveway. Doyle burst through the front door and found himself on the running boards of a moving vehicle. While trying to strangle the life out of the driver, he himself was met with a pistol at the forehead and was dead upon hitting the ground.
Deputy Sheriff Malcolm Davis staked out the home of Raymond Hamilton's sister in hopes of catching the infamous Odell Chambliss. But to his surprise, he met his maker at the hand of none other than Clyde Barrow.
Eventually, the duo decided it was time to be reunited with their old pal, Raymond Hamilton. The only trouble was, he was locked up, and they had to break him out. There seems to be a theme. Local law enforcement were alerted that Bonnie and Clyde were in town, so they set up various stakeout points in hope of a surprise ambush. The lovers made their way to South Joplin, Missouri, where they holed up with Clyde's brother Buck, his wife Blanche, and fellow gang member W.D. Jones. Now, this 3-month period, the gang did swear off looting and killing, but they didn't exactly keep a low profile. The neighbors were getting suspicious. This was a time of hard liquor, boppin' tunes, and general disorderly conduct. The men kept strange hours of comings and goings, the women hardly left the property, and beyond that, there was an array of strange license plates strewn about the yard and the garage. It was only a matter of time before this non-stop party came to a close. Check back soon to hear about the after party, and we'll catch you guys next time on Talkin Texana.